Alright guys, good morning. It's time for some more outside linebackers, and like I said, there were so many interesting ones in this draft, and there were so many that fit in well with the 3-4 that I think Seattle's going to be heavily leaning on this year, that I had to split it into more than just two videos. So we're going to spend some time on this, but today is all about the Tier 3 and Tier 4 guys. Today, we're going to be looking at guys who are going to go in the probably bottom half of the second to the third. So they're not going to go in the top 50, but they're probably going to go in that top 100. And I was able to find 6 guys again who are in that range. So there's a lot of fruit on this tree. And if the Seahawks don't come away with at least some of the fruit, I'm going to wonder what the heck the plan is, because this is such an obvious area of need and it's such an obvious position of strength for this draft. It's going to be very weird to me if we don't find a way to come away with at least one of these guys, possibly two. So with that in mind, let's get started here with Nick Bonitto from Oklahoma, and he's kind of become one of my favorite targets in the third round area. So Oklahoma Sooner, 6'3", 248, ran a 4.54, very fast. 3-cone was decent, 7.07. 20-yard shuttle was very good, 4.23. And he's got 3 seasons of productive play to back him up. 2019, 43 tackles, 6.5 for loss, 3.5 sacks, 1 pick, 4 pass deflections. 2020, upgraded to 11.5 TFLs and 9 sacks. 2021, he took a little bit of a step back as a sack artist, but in terms of getting tackles in the backfield, huge upgrade. 15, more than 1 a game, 7 sacks, 1 pass deflection, 1 forced fumble. This guy is universally considered a third-round prospect by everyone except PFF, and PFF's in love with him. They think he might actually go in the top 50. They think he might actually go in the top 40. But I think you are looking at probably an early-ish third-round pick on Bonitto. He's going to be a great fit for the hybrid. He's exactly what you want in a hybrid defense, I think. Outstanding overall athlete. He's got great speed off the edge, a variety of pass rush moves. He's not somebody who only wins with speed. He can spin, he can swim, he's got those maneuvers down. He's a high-effort guy, always trying to finish the play, going to the end of the whistle. He's effective against the run, despite his relatively small size, and he can cover. Really nice in coverage. Now, earlier I did mention the fact that he's 248 pounds. That's maybe even a little smaller than you would like. I don't think it's a problem because he can easily throw 5 pounds on if he needs to. Like, he would be the same weight as Thibodeau if he gained 6 pounds, so who really cares? If there's one weakness to his game, it's that he's a little weak. At least I wouldn't call him strong. He might be a little bit of a tweener player where he's a little too small to hold up as a defensive end and maybe not quite big enough to be a 4-3 outside linebacker. Hopefully he can find a home as a 3-4 outside linebacker, but he might be a little bit caught in no man's land right now. Just because I do think he needs to add a little bit of weight, maybe a little bit of muscle, just so he can hold up a little bit better against the bigger offensive linemen. But I really like Nick Bonitto a lot. Okay, Drake Jackson is the next guy, another Pac-12 dude, USC, 6'3", 254 pounds, 4.540. He did not run at the combine, so this is unofficial, but I think it was from a USC practice or something. 2019 had a nice start to his career. 46 tackles, 11.5 for loss, 5.5 sacks, 3 pass deflections. 2020 arrested development because of COVID. 2021 got back on the horse. Not his best season, but good. 37 tackles, 8 for loss, 5 sacks, a pick, forced fumble. Good player. Most websites have him in that 40s to 50s range, except for the Draft Network. They actually think he's a mid-third round guy, but I think Drake Jackson is probably a 50 to 60 guy. He's going to go in that bottom half of the second round. He's a good athlete. I mean, a 4.540, that's pretty phenomenal for a 254-pound guy. He's good at chasing down plays from behind. If you try to run away from him, he will track it down. He sets the edge decently, which is notable because he's not a huge guy. He's not somebody who is tremendously strong and just going to bowl people over. He knows how to win with his pass rush with speed, and he's excellent as a cover linebacker. At USC, he was even covering wide receivers sometimes. So Drake Jackson has the cover stuff down. He can drop into coverage, he can play the run fairly well, and he can win on pass rush. So there's no doubt about his ability to play 3-4 edge. The issues with him are that he's a little bit weak. Like I said, he could stand to put on a little more muscle. And I think he gets swallowed up a little bit and can get stuck on blockers. Like, if you run away from him, he can chase you down. But if you run towards him, he can kind of get swallowed up in the wash. Kind of gets pushed around a little bit. And overall, I do think he needs to pick up some more pass rushing technique. All right, next up we got Sam Williams from Ole Miss. 6'4", 261, ran a 4.4640, very impressive for a man of his size. That's even more impressive than Thibodeau's 40 time, actually. So very, very fast for his size. 3 fairly productive years. 2021 is obviously the main event here, though. 57 tackles, 15 for loss, 12.5 sacks. Wow. 4 forced fumbles. It's not like his first 2 years were bad. I mean, you can look at this and go, okay, that's pretty good. But 2021, he really got people's attention. Draft Network, Tankathon, CBS all have him in the 3rd round. Walter Football actually has him in the 2nd. ESPN and PFF have him in the 4th or 5th, which I don't think is realistic. I do think he's probably going to be a 3rd round guy. And there's a lot to like here as well. He's got tremendous straight line ability. If he's allowed to just move in a straight line, he's going to outrun a lot of people who are supposed to be leaner and more agile than him. The 2021 production is off the chain, obviously. He's strong against the run. You're not going to push him out of the hole. You're not going to get him out of the way on a run play easily. He's great at chasing down plays from behind, kind of like what I said with Drake Jackson. He's versatile. I think he can do outside linebacker stuff and defensive end stuff, so nice fit for a hybrid. The combination of strength and speed is rare, especially for this area of the draft. So Sam Williams is one of the guys who I'm pretty enthusiastic about. The things to be concerned about with Sam Williams would be his agility. He has great straight line speed, but his ability to actually like change direction or fight against somebody who's trying to evade him is a little bit in question. Sometimes he struggles to get second effort pressure, by which I mean if he gets knocked out of his initial pass rush move, sometimes it's hard for him to get back in the play. I don't feel like he has low effort. I don't think he's giving up, but it's just hard for him to win on second and third effort. So there is some stuff here that is a little bit alarming. This guy could end up being kind of a workout warrior and a guy who put up big numbers in college because it's college but won't do it in the NFL. But definitely worthy of consideration as a 3rd round pick, especially in the supposed hybrid defense that we're going to be running. All right, Kingsley Enagbare, very interesting player as well, next up on the list. South Carolina Gamecock, 6'4", 258 pounds. Ran a very slow 40 compared to these other guys, but he does make up for it in other ways. So some of you guys may have looked at that 40 time and immediately went, ugh. But let's get through all of this and try to see what the truth is. Had 4 fairly productive years in college, but the last 2 were the most notable. 30 tackles, 43 tackles, 7 tackles for loss apiece, and a total of 10.5 sacks. So it was mostly off these 2 seasons that he built his draft resume. Pretty good, obviously not huge numbers, but he is universally considered a top 100 guy. And CBS and PFF and Sports Illustrated, even Tankathon, think he could sneak into the 2nd. I think he's going to be a late 2nd or early 3rd guy. So why would the Seahawks consider Kingsley Enagbare? He grew tremendously across 4 seasons. You can see the progression as a player from 2018 to 2021 for sure. I would call him a solid overall pass rusher. He's able to win with his strength and his technique more than raw speed, I think. But he is able to get those things done successfully. He's powerful, and he's got great length, got long arms. He maneuvers around and through blockers well, doesn't get lost in traffic. He knows how to, shed off the blockers and go make the play. I think he's going to be a great fit for a hybrid. Like I said, he's somebody who's going to be able to play end in a 4-3, an outside linebacker in a 3-4. I think his coverage ability is good enough. But I also think that he's going to be able to get after the quarterback enough to justify having him around. The issues with him would be that he's not bendy as a pass rusher, which will limit his ability to get those quick pressures and quick sacks. I mean, this slow 40 time kind of indicates what kind of player you're potentially getting here. He does need to develop some more pass rush moves. I think that when you're sacrificing something in speed, you are going to need to work harder to develop better moves as a pass rusher. So Kingsley, to me, is a guy who's going to need to work on that more than even other players. And his run defense, I think he will eventually be able to do it, but it's a little shoddy right now. He's not great against the run yet. You're going to have to give him a little bit of time to develop to somebody who is. So, interesting prospect. The 40 time obviously gives you pause, but it seems like this guy is good enough in other areas to at least eventually make up for it. Okay, next up we have Darnell Beavers, and this is a tricky one because Darnell Beavers might end up as an inside linebacker sooner or later in the NFL. However, I do think that, especially in a hybrid defense, he is going to play a lot of outside. And I don't know exactly what role he would play for us if he was a Seahawk, but I think he would probably be playing some inside, some outside, and at the end of the day would make contributions in both areas. Okay, so Darnell Beavers is a Cincinnati Bearcat, another Cincinnati player. A lot of those going around lately. 6'4", 237, little lighter than you would like from an outside linebacker, which is why some people think he will end up playing inside. 4.67 40, solid enough 40 time. 6.91 3-cone, 4.28 20-yard shuttle, so his agility scores were nice. The 40 time isn't great, but the 3-cone and the 20-yard shuttle work very well. He's got 4 years of experience as a significant player in Cincinnati. His role changed a pretty decent amount as time went by. 2018, he was somebody who was mostly a pass rusher. He had 4 sacks to 23 tackles. But by the time 2021 came around, he was up to 98 tackles, 11 for loss, 4 sacks, 1 pick. He had 2 interceptions in 2020. So he was kind of all over the place for that defense, one of their best playmakers. And I don't know exactly where Beavers slots in the NFL, but I do think he will find a way to be a good player somewhere. Inside, outside, I don't know, but somewhere he's going to be good. A couple places have him as a third-round pick, PFF and TDN. ESPN and Walter Football are more bearish, no pun intended. They see him as actually a day 3 pick, and CBS has him as undrafted, which I think is silly. Overall, I do expect this guy to go near the bottom of day 2 or the top of day 3. So the pros with Beavers are that he can play inside and outside. So if he doesn't work out at one area, you can try him at the other. He might have to put on weight either way, but I think that's fine. You can work within that. He's a physical player, not afraid to get his hands dirty, not afraid to go into the middle of a scrum. He's a playmaker, somebody who made plays in the backfield a lot in college and was able to get his hands on the ball in coverage. High football IQ, understands where to be, understands where he needs to go in order to make an impact on the play. Very effective against the run. He's got a good understanding of coverage. He can drop back into shallow zones and do his job very well. Powerful enough to move blockers. He is strong enough to do that. I think ultimately what really draws me to Beavers is that I think he's going to be a great fit in a hybrid defense because he has a versatile skill set. The issues with Beavers would be that even though I think he can handle the zone coverage stuff, the man coverage might be a little difficult for him. Now, that's fine. He's probably going to be doing some outside linebacker stuff, but it needs to be acknowledged. Overall, I wouldn't call him super agile. His agility scores are pretty good, but he's not that fast. And overall, I wouldn't say he's a phenomenal athlete. He's good, but some of these guys are better. And like I said, he may end up being more of an inside linebacker with occasional outside linebacker duties. Okay, next up, finally for this video, we have Tyreke Smith of Ohio State. Another guy with only 1 year of production, really, and even that 1 year was not that crazy. Everyone that I looked at, though, said that the stats don't really tell the story. He was somebody who has struggled to make the play, but had a big impact on the defense with the pressure he created. So we've got ourselves another Jadeveon Clowney. 6'3", 254 pounds, ran a 4.86 40, kind of slow. His one season of significant stats accumulated: 26 tackles, 5 for loss, 3 sacks, 2 pass deflections, and 1 forced fumble. Walter Football thinks he has a chance of going in day 2, but most of these big boards have him in that 4th to 5th round range. I think you could probably get him down there. I think he is going to slip to day 3, but I think he might be worth a look in day 3. He's more productive than his stats. Like I said, this is a guy who gets pressure. This is a guy who knows how to affect plays positively for his team. It's just he struggled to actually finish the play with a sack sometimes, or a tackle. He's quick off the snap. He moves quickly as soon as the ball moves, and manages to win battles with offensive linemen based off of that. He's got good hands. His hands are good at getting offensive linemen off of him. He's got some coverage ability. He actually was dropping into coverage some at Ohio State, and he showed an ability to do it at least at a competent level. He's got a good motor. He never gives up on plays. He's always trying hard. As a hybrid edge, he's great. He's going to be able to do the stuff you need an outside linebacker to do, but he can put his hand in the dirt. So there is enough stuff to like here to project him as a good outside linebacker and defensive end prospect. The issues with Tyreke Smith, as I could find, are there were some overly aggressive tendencies. Sometimes he can go a little too hard and get out of position because of it. His rush is a little bit inefficient. There are a lot of movements he makes that just make everything take a little longer as he's trying to get to the quarterback. And he's a little bit lacking in the strength department. So you're looking at it and you're going, he's not that fast, and he's not that strong. I don't know what to fall in love with here. And I think that's fair, but a guy like a Tyreke Smith is somebody who's going to be able to cause some havoc off the edge, I think, and find ways to contribute that aren't just through raw speed or strength. And that's it for this video. Tomorrow we're going to be taking a look at the sleepers. These are the guys that I think are going to go in the day 2, maybe early day 3 portions of the draft, if I had to guess. So I'll call them tier 3 and tier 4 guys. Let me know who you like. Let me know if you think I missed anybody. If I did miss somebody, maybe I'll mention them tomorrow in the sleeper video. But until then, I'll see you guys later, and as always, go Hawks.